Japan is home to several unusual and fascinating places known as cat islands, small rural communities where the population of cats significantly outnumbers that of humans. Among the most famous are Aoshima and Tashirojima, islands that have gained international attention because of their remarkable feline residents. These islands are not officially created as sanctuaries for cats. Rather, their reputation emerged through a combination of historical necessity, cultural attitudes toward animals, and demographic changes that reshaped rural Japan over time. The phenomenon of cat islands reveals a deeper story about Japanese rural life, the relationship between humans and animals, and how unexpected cultural icons can arise from ordinary circumstances. Historically, cats arrived on many Japanese islands for practical reasons, rather than sentimental ones. In coastal fishing villages, fishermen stored nets, rope, and food supplies that attracted rodents. Rats could damage equipment and consume valuable resources, so cats were brought to control the rodent population. On islands like Tashirojima, which was once a center for silk production, cats were particularly valuable because they protected silkworm farms from mice. Silkworms were extremely sensitive and economically important, so any threat to them was taken seriously. Farmers soon realized that keeping cats nearby was an effective natural solution. Over time, these working cats became a permanent part of island communities. Instead of being simply tools for pest control, they gradually integrated into daily life and local culture. In Japan, cultural attitudes toward cats also helped shape their special status. Unlike in some societies where cats were viewed with suspicion, Japanese folklore often portrays cats as mysterious but protective beings. One famous symbol is the maneki neko, the iconic statue of a cat with a raised paw, believed to bring good fortune and prosperity. This figure is commonly seen in shops, restaurants, and homes throughout Japan. The cultural belief that cats can attract luck likely influenced how people on these islands treated them. On Tashirojima, for example, fishermen began to interpret the behavior of cats as omens about the weather and fishing conditions. If cats appeared calm or playful, it was considered a good sign for the day's catch. Over time, this belief evolved into a kind of reverence, and the community even built a small shrine dedicated to cats to honor their perceived spiritual significance. Another important factor behind the existence of cat islands is Japan's demographic shift in rural areas. Many small islands have experienced population decline for decades as younger generations move to large cities like Tokyo or Osaka in search of education and employment opportunities. As the human population shrank, the number of cats remained stable or even increased. Elderly residents often continued feeding and caring for them, but without many young people around, there were fewer humans overall. This imbalance gradually created communities where cats visibly outnumbered people. In Aoshima, for example, only a small number of elderly residents remain, while dozens or even hundreds of cats roam freely around the island's houses, docks, and narrow paths. The transformation of these islands into tourist attractions happened relatively recently, largely due to the internet and social media. Photographs of streets filled with cats quickly captured global attention. Travelers who love animals became curious about these unique destinations, and journalists began writing about them. Visitors now travel long distances just to experience the calm atmosphere of places like Aoshima, where cats lounge on fishing boats, sunbathe on wooden docks, and wander between quiet houses. Unlike typical tourist spots filled with shops and attractions, cat islands remain relatively simple. There are few hotels, restaurants, or modern facilities. The charm comes from their peaceful environment and the unusual sight of so many cats living comfortably among humans. Despite their popularity, cat islands also face challenges. Managing a large population of animals requires careful planning. Local governments and volunteers often organize veterinary programs to ensure that the cats remain healthy and that their numbers do not grow uncontrollably. Spaying and neutering campaigns are common, helping maintain a balance between animal welfare and the sustainability of the small communities that host them. Without such measures, the cat population could quickly exceed what the islands can support. Tourism itself can also be a double-edged sword. While visitors bring attention and sometimes financial support to declining rural communities, too many tourists could disturb the quiet environment that defines these islands. Some islands have implemented guidelines encouraging respectful behavior, such as not chasing or disturbing the cats and avoiding feeding them inappropriate food. Responsible tourism is essential to preserving the delicate relationship between the animals and the people who live there. At a deeper level, cat islands symbolize the resilience of rural communities adapting to change. Many Japanese islands struggle with aging populations, shrinking economies, and limited resources. Yet places like Aoshima and Tashirojima have found a unique identity that attracts interest from around the world. The cats, once simple working animals brought to control pests, have unintentionally become ambassadors for these communities. Their presence highlights how small, overlooked places can gain global recognition through something as simple and charming as a colony of friendly animals. In conclusion, Japan's cat islands exist not because they were intentionally designed as feline sanctuaries, but because of a convergence of history, culture, and demographic transformation. Cats were originally introduced to protect resources and livelihoods, but cultural beliefs and local traditions gradually elevated their importance within island communities. As rural populations declined, cats became the most visible inhabitants, and modern media transformed these quiet villages into famous destinations. Today, cat islands stand as unusual but meaningful examples of how human history, animal companionship, and cultural identity can intertwine in unexpected ways. What began as a practical solution to a problem with rodents has evolved into one of Japan's most charming and distinctive cultural phenomena.